Did you notice anything? I'm gonna give you a second. Because did you notice anything? One, I am back. Okay, that was dramatic. I am back. I'm back making videos. But the second thing is, I have a new intro on my YouTube channel. What's up? It's lit. It's official. New intro. And 3, I am back making videos. What's up, kings and queens, queens and kings, ladies, gents? My name is Siobhan, aka Von the Don, and I am the founder of Fearfully and Wonderfully Made, or FWMade for short. Y'all, I am back on YouTube and I am so excited to be back. It has been a year since I posted, like an entire year. Let's just let that marinate and sit, that I've been gone that long. You know, 2020 was hectic for everyone, right? We're in a global pandemic, a racial pandemic. And for me personally, I was just in a huge transition. And every time I wanted to come back to YouTube and record videos, I just realized that it wasn't the timing. Like, God was just having me sit down and just get comfortable in this transition that I'm in. But I'll talk about that in a later video. But from what you do know from where I left off, I graduated with my master's. I moved to the East Coast, and that's probably when I stopped recording videos. So I'll definitely do like a catch-up video so you can know what my 2020 looked like. But while I was away from YouTube, I was still heavily involved on Instagram, right? Like, duh, IG popping all the time. But during that time, people would slide in my DMs and ask me therapy-related questions because I am now a therapist here in the DMV area. And they will ask therapy-related questions like, how do you find a therapist? What coping skills can you use? They would ask me all of these things, and I would answer them because that's just the type of person I am. I answer all of the questions, and I figured, like, after the year that people had, like, we all had a rough 2020, and I figured, why not come on this channel and give tips about therapy? Like, this is what people need. This is what people want to hear. And I'm a therapist, so why not come on my channel and incorporate that? So is this a channel about therapy and everything else that I will be talking about? Yes. Will I be giving you therapy? No. So disclaimer, if you need a therapist, I am encouraging you to seek out a licensed therapist. This is not the substitute for therapy. These, however, are just tips. So today in this first video, I wanted to talk about how to find a therapist. And I'm going to try to keep this very short and sweet because I know all of our attention spans, when we hit that 15-minute, we be ready to like move around and switch videos. So I'm gonna try to keep this brief, but I want to give you as much information as possible. And if you feel like it's something that I missed, comment below, and I'll also throw things in the comment section just in case I forget to bring it up in a video and I remember as I'm posting and uploading. But in the meantime, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this channel because we're talking about therapy now. So this is something you want to hear. Okay, tune in for that. So yes, this video is going to be how to find a therapist. And I thought about recording this video because I think because therapy is such a buzzword right now, it's such a cool trend to do or thing to seek out. Sometimes we don't know like how to even find one. And so we have the desire to find a therapist, but we don't even know step 1. So let me help you out with that. Let me tell you what step 1 is. So if you are interested in this video, and if you've watched this far, that means you are interested. So keep on watching. So the first thing that you need to know while finding a therapist is research. Research. Like, that is so important, okay? Research the type of therapist that you want, and what they specialize in. Because you don't want to find a therapist that is not even specialized in the things that you feel like you need help in. There are different type of therapists, and maybe I can do that in a whole nother video because it's literally that many. But to keep it brief, you have therapists that do yoga therapy. You have therapists that do music therapy, art therapy. You have some that specialize in narrative therapy where they have their clients or their patients reliving and telling a story. You have solution-focused therapists, which are short therapy sessions just to help you tackle goals and just get to the solution really quick. You're not going to be diving deep into trauma and trying to make connections. You're really just going to help them find the best answer for them, and they're out of the session. And then you have cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a little deeper, where you are having someone rewire their brain and try to learn healthy thinking. But yeah, anyways, I feel like I already dove too far into that. But you want to make sure you're researching a therapist that specializes in what you feel like you need. The second thing that you want to look for when finding a therapist, as you're researching, check for experience. Okay, check for experience. Because like I said, you don't want to go to a therapist that probably has no experience in working with maybe a person of color, a person from the Black community. You don't want to go to a therapist who does not have any training or experience in LGBTQ plus issues, if that is what you're seeking therapy for. You don't want to go to a therapist who has no experience in trauma, and maybe you've had such a traumatic past that you just need to heal, and they have no experience in that. Okay, so making sure you check for experience, because you don't want to go to a dentist, right? You're probably wanting to go get your teeth cleaned, but you're looking for an optometrist. They're both doctors, right? They're not the same doctors, but they're both quote unquote doctors. But they have totally different specialties and experience. One is a dentist, one is an eye doctor. So same thing for therapists. Not all therapists do the same work. Some people only specialize in something. So you want to check that experience, okay? The third thing when finding a therapist is checking insurance. Now, this can be pretty tricky just depending on your experience with insurance, what insurance you have, but checking insurance, because some therapists are out of network. And what out of network means is you will be paying out of pocket. Like, they don't take insurance and you are going to be paying with money, your money, okay? So checking for insurance. Before you book this appointment with the therapist, make sure they take your insurance if you're going to be using insurance. So Cigna, TRICARE, Blue Cross Blue Shield, I can't talk, I'm getting tongue-tied, United Health. You want to make sure that they take those kind of insurances. And listen, if you balling and you said, I ain't using insurance, then that's good for you. I know I need insurance, okay? I'm gonna be checking that person's insurance. So one is checking insurance. After you do that, you also need to make sure that your insurance company allows you to see a licensed therapist and an unlicensed therapist. Yeah, you heard me right, unlicensed therapist. So what that means is that might be a person who is working in the therapy field who has their master's degree, and maybe they're under supervision from like an LPC or a licensed social worker supervisor who is supervising them while they are accumulating hours until they are fully licensed. So they might have a provisional license and they're not fully licensed, but they are under supervision. And then you have some who practice without a license, because some jobs allow you to do that depending on the setting and profession you're in. But some jobs allow you to do that and you don't even have to count hours, but you can label yourself as a licensed therapist. So you want to make sure that you are going to someone who is licensed and unlicensed, or you want to make sure that your insurance allows you to do licensed and unlicensed. I will say that if you go to someone who is unlicensed, it doesn't mean that they are bad therapists. It just means that they're newer in the game. They might have 2 to 3 years of experience under their belt, which is okay. However, your cost for therapy might be a little bit cheaper because they are not fully licensed, and that's also a plus. So if you feel like you are struggling to find a therapist and pay for a therapist, then finding that person that is unlicensed, that person that is an intern or who is under supervision, those are people that you can look for to get maybe a cheaper cost. But yes, check insurance, make sure that your therapist that you're looking for takes your insurance and that your insurance company allows you to see both licensed and unlicensed, okay? All right, so the next thing that you want to be mindful of when looking for a therapist or a counselor, clinician, whatever you want to call them, is gender. And I say that because some people have such a traumatic past or a traumatic background where they don't feel comfortable working with one of the sexes, a woman or a man. So for example, if you had such a traumatic story, a traumatic background where maybe you were sexually assaulted and you don't feel comfortable working with a man, then you know to look for women therapists, or vice versa. If you had a traumatic past with a woman and you feel more comfortable talking to a male therapist, then seek out that male therapist. You want to make sure that you are picking out the therapist that makes you the most comfortable. So if you feel like you need to narrow down also with gender, do that. Also, if you feel like you want to narrow down with spirituality, whatever issues, you can go and tailor and refine that search. So you can go into a directory, look for therapists in your area, and then filter and tailor that search. So you can put the kind of gender you want in the therapist. You can narrow it down to maybe treatment modalities that they use, which is like the CBT or the narrative therapy, etc. You can even narrow it down to LGBTQ plus if you feel like that's something that you really want to focus on. You can find those therapists that specialize in those areas just for you. So yes, gender, and making sure you narrow down and use some of those filters available. The very next thing that you want to make sure you know when you're looking for a therapist is what you feel like you want to discuss there. What is your why for therapy? And maybe it can be hard to figure out what that why is and maybe articulate like why I'm here, why you are there, because maybe you've had such many issues that's, I guess, come up, and you just feel like you're in this big life transition. And so you probably feel like you're all out of whack and I don't know why I'm here, but I just don't feel like myself again. And maybe it's hard to put into words what your why is, but try your best to figure out what your why. So if you feel like you have been struggling with depression, but you don't know it's depression, you can at least say, I know I've not been feeling like myself. I've been feeling really sad, or I've been feeling severely anxious, and I don't know if this is anxiety, but know what your why is, because you don't want to go and give someone your money and they're not even talking to you or helping you with the things that you feel like you need help with. So understanding your why. Okay, understanding your why. And lastly, if all else fails, asking a friend or family member if they go to therapy and who would they recommend, because you would be surprised how much resources the people around us have and how we can probably utilize that. So like I said, you want to be specific on the things that you're looking for and use those filters so you can filter out the therapist you want. But if you feel like, hey, I don't have any specifics and any certain requirements, I just want to go seek out a therapist, then do that. Ask a family member or a trusted friend, hey, do you know any good therapists in the area? Do you have any recommendations? Because I'm pretty sure that at this big age that we at, this day and time, somebody has probably gone to at least a few therapy sessions where they can recommend or not recommend a person. So check in the people around you, check in your circle to see if there's anybody that you can go to. I hope this video was helpful. Hope it wasn't too long. And I also hope that I didn't leave anything out. Like I said, if I think about something that I forgot to mention, I will definitely throw it in the comment section. But comment below if you have gone to therapy in 2020 and what was your experience like with that therapist. Let's have a conversation because I'm curious. I am a therapist and I am not claiming to be this huge pro in my profession just yet. You know, I'm trying to get there, but I'm not there yet. But I would love to understand what are some things you might have liked or disliked about your therapist, so I can take notes. So let's have that conversation in the comment section below, and stay tuned for the next video. I think my next video might talk about how to know you have a good therapist. So after you've done step one, which is researching and finding the therapist, how do you know you have a good one? So that's gonna be the next video. All right, as always, be blessed. Come back to my channel. Less stressed, okay? Be blessed, less stressed. But no, like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video, because like I said, people need therapy, so they probably need these tips. Share this video, and as always, be inspired, be empowered, be bold, and be you. Be you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.